Okay, Instagram must absolutely hate me tonight because this is my third time filming, actually fourth time attempting to film this Thursday Thoughts video. So if you've been trying to follow along, I apologize if you haven't been following along. At first, when I started my Instagram live video, nobody could hear me, and then I tried to restart the video and still couldn't hear me, and then I tried to do it on stories and it won't play sound at all, and I googled and I can't find a solution. So what we're doing now, actually another thing happened too, sorry, let me go back, and then I tried to film it on IGTV app, and it lost my video after I took it, and that time it was a full video and it was like 15 minutes long. So I've said this a lot already, so bear with me. But if you are new here, I do something called Thursday Thoughts, which is basically just a scheduled live video of me chatting and answering people's questions that they submitted earlier in the week, and maybe just telling you some info about Oak Barn beef too. So if you were on last week's Thursday Thoughts, Eric and I shared a lot about our freezer that he built this past May, or basically summer. So I just wanted to show that too. I'm in the beef room right now. And then I also wanted to say that we have some packages available for Christmas time. So if you're thinking about sending a gift to a loved one, this is an awesome idea. We have some steaks in here, and this is one of our packages. So if that interests you at all, let me know. Actually, just go to oakbarnbeef.com, and it's oakbarnbeef.com, and then you can shop those in our Christmas collection. Okay, I am jumping into this video before something else goes wrong. So I'm going to answer some of the questions that were submitted earlier this week by some followers on Instagram, and basically I just open it up to any kind of questions. So these ones are about like our farm and about my entrepreneurship journey. So let's get started. So Krista asked, talk about your vision for your farm going forward. Growing the operation, ? So I'm kind of in a weird transition right now. Eric and I both just graduated from college in May. So the beef company was at my parents' house, and now we transitioned it, or are in the process of transitioning it to Eric's parents' house. And eventually we want to have our own farm. However, like, there are no farms for sale around this area at this time. So we're kind of waiting for one to come up, and then we can have our own. But through this transition of switching it over to our new hometown, it's been fun. The cattle will be up here. Eric and I are getting our first round on Monday, November 30th. And so that's just in 2 weeks here. And so I'm really excited to have them up here. They've been at my parents' house up to this point, just because the timing hasn't been right, and we've been moving them up here. So very thankful for the support. And we'll be renting some corn stalks from Eric's dad, and then running them here. So I'm excited to share that journey a little bit with you guys, and I'm excited to have me and Eric's first round of cattle together. So looking further than that, once we have our farm, I do think we'll expand to some other species. So maybe eventually, instead of only offering beef, we'll be able to offer pork and chicken and some of those things. So that'll come with time. Hopefully sooner than later, but we'll see. I trust the process. Okay, so the next questions are all about entrepreneurship. So the first one was, how did you start your website? And so I started my website just by on squarespace.com, and if you don't know what that is, it's like kind of a hosting platform / templates to have your website on. And so I self-learned that just by watching YouTube videos and basically by just playing around on it. And that helped me do basically just learn website design. I had no experience with it. I am an animal science major in college. I never learned website design. And so just by self-learning in YouTube has been very powerful. And then I switched over to Shopify when I decided I wanted to get more advanced e-commerce and basically analytics. Shopify has fantastic analytics, and then you can tell a lot more than Squarespace, but Squarespace was a great place to start because I learned a lot on that. And when I switched to Shopify, I did hire somebody to transfer my website over to Shopify, and she did a lot of the coding and some of that stuff, which was a huge help. She actually allowed me to trade her services for beef on some of it, and so she's actually a beef customer now, so kind of fun that worked out. The next question is, what was your goal with social media? So I'd just say my goal was to build a brand with all the things I want Oak Barn Beef to stand for. So that's going to be a little bit of like the farming and cattle side and sharing some of those, that information that connects producers and consumers. And I want to share about my entrepreneurship journey and that whole process. If you've been following me for 2 years now, you've seen the bare bones beginning to now to hopefully in another 2 years, we'll look back on this point and think, wow, that's gone a long way. And then on top of that, I think just building connections between people. It's really fun to see all the people who you would have never met without social media. So social media can be a very positive thing and a very negative thing, and it's a hard balance, and that's something I face every day because it's addicting. So hard to balance between positive and negative. But my ultimate goal is to build a brand for Oak Barn Beef that stands in line with its mission. So then the next question is this your full-time job or is it just a side gig? So I do have a full-time job on top of this. I would say Oak Barn Beef is, I wouldn't call it a side gig either. I'm just a small business owner and a full-time employee. I have found a company to work for that is very flexible and understanding of Oak Barn Beef and supportive, and I really appreciate that. So, for example, on Mondays, I do not work. I ship beef on Mondays, so I have that day off. So by finding a company that allowed me to do that, I am very thankful for that, and plus then I can manage having like full-time hours and running this business. Eventually I would like to be full-time with the business, and hopefully we'll see that transition in a few years. Okay, last question. How did I go about building my customer base early on? Social media was the most powerful way, but it was also a little frustrating because building a brand takes time. So I know just putting a post out there isn't going to sell anything or continuously sells things. It might the first time, but after that, it's a lot more work than that. So I would invest in listening to podcasts about building a brand. Jenna Kutcher with Gold Digger podcast was a great person for me to listen to about like building my brand in social media and all of that. And then the other thing that I really spent a lot of time on and still do is my search engine optimization or SEO of my website. And what that is when people search dry-aged beef, I hope my website comes up. So there's some strategic ways to do that, like with blog posts and keywords, and it's pretty deep down. Like you'll learn a lot once you dive into it, but that brings a lot of people to my website from searching on Google, and so that's a good way to find customers too. So I talked fast and I wasn't as detailed as the last time I took this video, but I'm just praying it has sound at this point. But thanks for watching if you're still watching at this point. Check out our holiday collection. If you have any interest in that, it's oakbarnbeef.com, and we would love to ship your family or friends beef, or you. So thanks again.